Welcome to the Dizzy Skeleton. I'm DK, and today we're going to be looking at Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. Fizban's Treasury of Dragons was released in late October. Here I'm holding the alternate cover, a crystal dragon fighting a red dragon here on the front, and then kind of this hearth on the back, a fireplace where I assume this is Fizban's hat. Fizban is a wizard from Dragonlance. They've ported them over to be the new host of this book here. The book itself is very nice. The feel of it has that soft cover feel on it. The picture is very nice. It even kind of, I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up on the camera, but it kind of shines. The flames and the crystals and the crystal dragon kind of shine in the light. Same with on the back. It is retailing for $49.95, but you could probably pick up the standard cover a little bit cheaper on websites. I know Amazon usually has theirs knocked down to around $35, and some other internet retailers may be able to supply the book at a little bit of a lower price. All right, so that's to the outside. I'm going to go ahead and we'll take a look on the inside now. All right, and like my last review, I'm not going to go page by page, but I'll just show the things that I thought were cool in the book. Try to catch on camera that shine that the crystal dragon, the fire has. Here on the back, the fireplace just brings the book alive. All right, so today I'm only going to be looking at the first two chapters of Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. I'll go ahead and share the table of contents here. It's broken down into 6 chapters. The later chapters, the deeper you get in the book, the more it is for dungeon masters. They put all the player options, the character creation, right at the beginning here. I really like the full piece of art that they have here. Instead of just the top half of the page, they've created a full illustration. Here then, we're going to have the character creation. Now here, for the races, they just have just the Dragonborn, but they have been totally redone, completely revamped. The chromatic Dragonborn is fairly similar to the one that was in the book. The big change that they've really made on all of these dragons is the fact that the breath weapons, which are various and different, now that they have the gem dragon, you have all these different damage types. But the real difference here is that they are not just once per long rest, per short rest. Instead, you can use your breath weapon a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. The other big change that I really liked is when you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace one of your attacks. So potentially if you're a fighter, a barbarian, a monk, and you get those multiple attacks, a ranger, you could breathe fire once a turn and still make a regular attack twice a turn. And if you are the fighter, the monk, and you're getting those high levels, you might be able to pull off a couple of breaths in a couple of different directions and still use a weapon that you have. The gem dragon, if any of them I was going to choose, is maybe the most powerful. And it's definitely the most different. Like I said, it has different damage types here. It has different damage types that reflect the different gem dragons that they brought into this book. Now, Force, Radiant, Psychic, those are a little bit harder to resist for normal creatures in the monster manual and in normal games. Most of the time you get resistance to fire, maybe even necrotic, cold, poison. Those things are normally resisted, but the gem dragons here have a little bit of an edge on them. Following up the new Dragonborns, they're going to have subclasses. Now they have 2 subclasses. The Monk, Way of the Ascended Dragon. It's a very dragon-esque monk. Kind of surprised it's taken us this long to get a dragon martial artist. You think that would be pretty popular, pretty prevalent in a lot of media, that they would want to bring that out right away. But we've waited, and here it is now. I wouldn't say that I would personally pick this, but I know at one point you do get wings here. You're able to breathe, breath of the dragon, so you can breathe like a dragon. If you take this in addition to being a dragonborn, I mean, your breaths are going to be pretty crazy. You're going to have quite a lot. The other subclass that they did bring into this is the Drake Warden. Now, the Drake Warden does seem interesting to me. I've always been one that loves dragons and having an animal companion. I really enjoyed playing in 3.5 a ranger or a druid that naturally got the animal companion. Bit stronger than the familiar that you could get. Here, this dragon starts out as a small wingless drake, but it kind of gains abilities and levels up as you do, the further and further that you get in. Eventually, you're going to be able to mount it, and it will take flight eventually. It also turns to a large size, so it does get bigger and better as you move on. Something that the other companion creatures currently in 5th edition are missing. They've also added draconic feats, possibly bestowed upon you by a dragon or showing some kind of draconic heritage. The gift of the chromatic, the gem, and the metallic. I really like the metallic. It gives you cure wounds once per long rest, but then it also allows you to use any of your spell slots. So even if you're a sorcerer or a wizard at this point, now you could cast cure wounds using just your personal spell slots. Thought that was really neat. The second chapter, now dragon magic. Here they're showing some dragon magic. Anytime you see these canaries here, you'll know that that's Bahamut. He has 7 of these yellow canaries all take form around him, and then they are supposed to be polymorphed gold dragons. They are his specialty force that he kind of brings around with him. I'm not really sure why a god would need its own entourage of specifically gold dragons, one of the most powerful dragons in existence, but there he is teaching what looks like a young spellcaster some dragon magic. They didn't have a lot of spells here in this book. I guess that's fine. I guess I would have liked a lot of more dragon themed spells, but they've done kind of a lot in the past. Dragon breath, things like that have kind of already brought in a lot of dragon spells. Now a lot of these are going to be Ashardalans, Fizbans, rhymes, named dragon spells that they have here. One of my favorites is indeed Ashardalans Stride. The billowing flames of a dragon blast from your feet, granting you explosive speed. For a minute, you gain 20-foot increase to your speed, and then you're also able to do damage, extra damage, whenever someone is 5 feet within 5 feet of you. Draconic Transformation, which allows you to change into or take on draconic features. Blind Sight. You also gain a flight and a breath weapon here. Like I said, they don't have a lot of spells, but I think the ones that they have in here are thought out. Alright, right here we're going to take a look at some of the magic items. Now I'm just going to point out a few that I thought were pretty cool, that I thought were powerful maybe, or just interesting. So Dragon Lance is a weapon forged and associated with Bahamut. It's just basically a powerful lance. It does extra damage to dragons, force damage that is. So that's pretty powerful. It's kind of like a lance of dragon slaying, if you will, or something like that. Another item I wanted to talk about was the flail of Tiamat. I'm not going to give too much away on this because I do plan on using it in my campaign. But I just love the image of having a flail that has 5 heads on it, each one representing one of the chromatic dragons, and then kind of just swinging that around on the battlefield. It also has a breath weapon that you can use off of it that is pretty powerful. The last item I wanted to talk about is the Topaz Annihilator. It's the first Wizards of the Coast 5th edition legendary firearm that I have noticed or seen in any book. I would have to double check Eberron, but I'm almost certain that they don't have any firearm legendary items. It is based on the Topaz Dragon, so it's going to deal necrotic damage. It also allows you to cast a disintegrate spell on it. This is a crazy weapon to me. This is some kind of railgun or disintegration ray. Almost a science fiction or science fantasy type of item. This is something I would definitely throw in my homebrew world. I do have firearms in my homebrew world, so it'd be something that maybe a gunslinger or a rifleman would want to pick up. All right, and here we got the Horde magic items. So I've let adventurers put their toys in my Horde to steep once or twice. I can never get a good night's sleep while they're there, though. It's like an itch. Fizban. I kind of like these by Fizban, where he just kind of says these little things at the beginning of each heading. But essentially, the Horde magic items is going to be some kind of magic item. They have a list of them here in the book, but it's based on the age of the dragon. So here, the item would take on this state, so slumbering, stirring, wakened, or ascendant, depending on the age. And the item needs to stay in a dragon's horde for 1 year to reach its maximum possible state, allowed by the age of the horde's dragon. So if you leave your, let's just say you're using a longsword, you leave it in an adult gold dragon's horde because you have befriended this dragon, you've taken some downtime or need to take some time off. When you come back, it may be a dragon's wrath weapon. So here you would go find which one you had. So we said an adult gold. So that would be a wakened. So then it says the wakened weapon has the slumbering property, which is the one before it. It also improves on the stirring property. Again, the one before it. So it gains everything before it. And then a bonus to attack and damage rolls increases by +2. And the extra damage dealt by the weapon increases to 2d6. So you start to really get some powerful items here. As an action, you can unleash a 30-foot cone of destructive energy from the weapon. Each creature in that area must make a DC 16 dexterity saving throw. Take a d6 on a fail, or half. And then the Ascendant would be one step up from that. So it's going to get everything the Slumbering has to offer, as well as the Stirring and Wakened properties. And then increase everything. So +3, 3d6, and then that's the breath weapon or destructive energy cone is going to do an extra 4d6 at that point. That's pretty powerful. You're talking about a legendary level item just from leaving your longsword in the horde of an ancient dragon. They go through more, so they have dragon touched focus, so some kind of scepter, orb, amulet, crystal. My favorite is the dragon vessel, so it's either going to be a potion bottle, a drinking horn, or some other container meant to hold liquid. As a bonus action, if the vessel is empty, you can speak the command word to fill the vessel with one of the following. So at first you only get ale, olive oil, potion of healing, potion of climbing. And it changes. So this one you can get mead, a potion of fire breath, and a potion of greater healing. Right. So the ascendant level is going to be whiskey, potion of healing, supreme, or a potion of dragon's majesty. Now, if we go back and look at the potion of dragon's majesty, looks like a liquid gold with a single scale from a chromatic gem or metallic dragon suspended in it. When you drink the potion, you transform into a dull dragon of the same kind that the dragon scale came from. The transformation lasts 1 hour. You essentially polymorph into an adult dragon. That is powerful. That is very powerful. And you can do this as a bonus action. You can't use it until next on. So every 24 hours, you have the potential to become an adult dragon. That would be pretty powerful to be used. You'd have to have a pretty lenient DM to give you a CR to allow you to turn into a CR16 creature with flying, the breath weapon, and everything. You don't get the legendary or layer actions, but without it, the stat block is still a pretty decent stat block for a creature. All right, so that was the Horde magic items. The last thing here in this chapter is going to be the Draconic Gifts. You know the proverb, don't look a Draconic gift in the mouth. Some say it's because of the breath weapon, but really it's the smell. So the Draconic Gifts can be given to characters during some kind of slaying of the dragon. They may acquire it from a friend that is a dragon who just bestows one of these gifts upon you. They're kind of like boons from the Dungeon Master's Guide, but they're just a little bit more specific. Some of the less common Draconic gifts I've seen bestowed include chubby cheeks and an adorable nature, the ability to blow immaculate smoke rings, that's a good one, the innate sense of when your egg is perfectly soft-boiled. I wouldn't mind the last one myself. Fizban just kind of cracking up in the book. I think he's probably one of my favorite narrators of any of the books so far. And then here we go, we just have a list of them. So touching on just a couple of them, we have the Draconic Familiar. So in this instance, it's kind of like a feat, but it's more like a boon. But it allows you basically to cast Find Familiar and grab a pseudo dragon as that familiar. So maybe the pseudo dragon, you impressed the pseudo dragon or impressed the dragon that the pseudo dragon is kind of becoming a companion to. Kind of you're in between you and this dragon. But some of them are kind of just simple. Tongue of the dragon allows you basically to speak like a dragon. But then some of them have psionic reach, where you have the psionic energy of a gem dragon. You gain resistance to psychic damage, but then you're also able to cast telekinesis as a spell. They also list here feats as Draconic Gifts. So going through the feats in the player's handbook, they kind of just describe how you would convert, say, alert the feat. Your heightened senses give you a dragon's awareness of your surroundings, and you're given the alert feat as a Draconic gift. I kind of like that. It expands on what they have here and kind of allows you to come up with other things. These are just, examples here. So, I mean, you could really go wild. You could even give a dragonborn character dragonborn racial feats if you thought it was appropriate. All right, so like I said, that's going to be part 1 of 2. The second video is going to really focus on role-playing dragons, their layers, and then we'll take a short look at the bestiary there. All right, and thanks for joining me for this review today. I'm going to be running a contest here till January 15th, and that's the day I'll select a winner. In order to join the giveaway contest, I'm going to need you to subscribe, like this video, and then share my link anywhere. You can go ahead and just screenshot that share and then send it to me on Discord. I'll leave that in the description below. Once I have all those, I'll pick someone at random to receive a book. The book is either going to be Strixhaven, A Curriculum of Chaos, or the next book, depending on if you already have Strixhaven, or the winner's preference, which is going to be Call of the Netherdeep, and that's going to be a critical role adventure. Alright, and thanks for watching today. If you could go ahead and like and subscribe down below. If you want to watch my last book review, you can look at it here. My last miniature review right over here.